I thought it was just me, but lately I've been hearing and seeing a real disconnect in business owners' stories. Some are blowing up, reaching new audiences and revenue milestones at an amazing rate, and others feel like they're quietly struggling, wondering why it feels like nothing's working anymore. For many, even their tried and true tactics that used to kill it no longer do. I am in the second boat, and it has been a humbling experience to say the least. There's a real quiet shame you feel when it's painstakingly obvious that what used to work no longer does, but you're still at that in between phase in figuring out what your new path forward is. For me and some of my clients, sure, the train is still on the tracks, but it just feels different. It feels like a lot of pushing. It feels like you're standing on shaky ground, particularly when it comes to social media, when it feels like your reach and therefore the connections that you can make are being taken away from you. It feels like emails are hitting differently, and it feels like people are more hesitant to spend right now. Also, notice I said a lot of feels because I haven't actually gone through and quantified it. And so often I think it's important to talk about like what things feel like versus what they are. And I'm intentionally talking about what things feel like right now. But regardless, it creates a lot of tactical and introspective questions about your abilities, your business, if you're thinking about things in the right way. So if any of these thoughts, questions, or doubts have been on your mind, this episode's for you. I've got some good news and I've got some annoying news. The good news, your marketing is not broken and you're technically not doing anything wrong. In fact, I'd go as far as to say that technically speaking, you're probably doing everything right. The annoying news though, things have changed. We're now in a world where everyone's an expert, so buyers have become more discerning. And because of that, trust and connection building matter more than ever. Also, platforms have evolved and kind of feel more crowded. So that looks like overcrowded inboxes, paid ads that are costing more but still feel like you're not really getting the visibility that you once did. And also, technology's changing at a crazy speed. For example, social media channels now act as research engines and rely on SEO. And also, there's AI that now acts as a researching and soundboard for people determining where to spend their dollars. And with these shifts, we have to shift as well. What I have to say about it is the internet didn't break, even though it feels like it may have, but it did grow up. The metaphor that I like to use about it is the transition from feeding a toddler to an elementary school kid. So gone are the days where we used to make fun airplane noises, twirl a spoon around, and the child in the high chair was delighted to try what you had to offer. Now, they've seen this before, they're not sure if they want what you have to offer, and it requires more to get them to see what you have to offer, get them excited about it, and get them ready to try what you're serving. But so, okay, that's what's going on. Now, what do we do about it? So for me, what I've been seeing and experimenting in my business, my clients' businesses, and the conversations that I'm having with other entrepreneurs in this brave new world can be boiled down into 6 intentional shifts. Shift 1. Your messaging has to be hyper specific. I know there have been so many conversations about niching up, niching down, and what to do about that. And then there are people who throw in, well, I'm a multi-passionate person and I can't be held down to anything. That's not to say that you have to pick one avatar, one offer, one thing you're talking about for the next 6 months. But it does mean that you have to have one clear message for one person for every one tactic that you're doing. So in social, it's one problem, talking to one person about the one solution that you need to fix it. For email, it looks like segmenting your email list and talking to people about the one thing that's most relevant to them and necessary for them to hear right now. An example of this, I was just talking to a client who stopped emailing altogether because they felt like they were just yelling into the void. They are a vet practice, so what we discussed was segmenting the list into what pets they have, like the types of pets, dogs, cats, reptiles, the life stage of that pet, the life stage of the owner within the practice. So are they a newer client who still needs to learn about them, or have they been with you for years and they've loved and trusted you the entire time? And from that segmentation, we're able to share tips, offers, whatever, based on what they actually care about right now. And by meeting them where they are, seeing where they are, and giving them something specific that you have to offer, we're able to deepen that trust and the authority that keeps us top of mind as things come up. Shift number 2, your content has to shift beliefs, not just share tips. The internet has enough information, and thankfully, most people have learned that not everything you see or hear online is real. And with that, there's now a deeper discernment of what comes across our desk. So take me, for example. Anyone and their mother can talk about marketing, and everyone has a hot take on it. But what resonates with people now more than ever is the shift you walk them through. Get it? Entrepreneur shift. Anyway, but so that looks like adding your unique perspective, experience, what have you. It's the pattern recognition you're building to help them see things, or at least start to think about things differently. It's the reframing of what they think they know or what they think they need into what the real culprit is and what that intentional shift means for them. So take this episode right here. A lot of people probably tuned in because they thought, yeah, my marketing's broken. They thought they're doing something wrong, and maybe they thought other things about themselves, their business, their clients, the market, the world, whatever. But the entire point of this episode is to be your calm reminder that no, it's not fill in the blank. It's that things have shifted. So now we have to do things a little differently. Shift 3, we have to eliminate the friction in the buying process. People are bombarded by a million offers from a million different people. So if you did the first 2 shifts right, you helped them decide and you got them interested to either want to learn more or actually buy. And now we have to be so cognizant of getting rid of any potential roadblocks in their path to purchase. So quite literally, that looks like prominently, clearly, repeatedly placing the next step where you're telling them to go. It's not burying buy buttons at the bottom of your sales page or emails or websites. It's streamlining intake forms or next steps that only require what you absolutely need from them in the moment. It's answering phone calls when they call, or having a system in place that can answer calls for you when you and your team aren't available. What I've seen from auditing people's sales processes is that it's not always the marketing. Sometimes it's literally that you're unintentionally blocking yourself from the sale. Shift 4. You got to provide entry points to meet people where they are, because real take, people are more intentional with their spending right now, and that is okay. But unlike the early 2020s, that doesn't mean that you have to add another freebie in. It does, however, mean that you need to think about your ecosystem or your offer ladder, because depending on your business model, it might take a few months to close a few $1,000s, and that is okay. But do you have something in place for the people who are curious but not ready to invest in that level just yet? The people who want to dip their toes into your world and see if what you say you deliver is what you actually deliver. And real life example, I have a friend who's been making daily sales from anywhere between $7 and $97 low ticket offers that have turned into 6-figure revenue streams for her. And like for me, when I was hot in my med spa marketing days, I had things like automated email and text message templates for $7. I had a 10-step workbook for building compliant Google ads for your med spa. I can't remember if it was $27 or $47. I had a how to DIY your own ads landing page for $97. Or people could come straight to me to build it all for them at a concierge price. For more brick and mortar service providers, it could look like introductory offers that build into larger programs, treatments, whatever. But in thinking this way, we allow people to enter into our world, experience the way we think about and do things, get the tangible results we promise them, and we can continue to build the relationship with them from there until they're ready to take that next bigger step. The goal is progression towards their desired transformation, and also validating them in the process that they're not just freebie chasers and that they're actually in it with you. They're just trying to, for whatever reason, they're not at the place where they're ready to fully jump in just yet. Shift 5. We have to build marketing that works for humans and AI. I keep talking about it, but discovery and research are evolving. We're now living and working in a world where we couldn't have even dreamed of 4 years ago. And specifically, I'm talking about AI because sure, historically we had to build for technology like think SEO, but now it matters more than ever. McKinsey reported actually that at the beginning of this year, 2026, AI search has shifted from a novelty to a primary method for finding services and making purchasing decisions, with roughly 50% of consumers using AI-powered tools to research, compare, and select what they're going to buy. Also, they said that this shift is characterized by high intent, pre-qualified traffic, not just like look-see-loos. And they said that people who use this channel convert up to 23 times better than traditional search. So what that means for us is we need to be even more intentional about what we're creating for both the humans experiencing it and interacting with it, as well as AI. So practically, that means clear website structure, deepening context written within the way that we actually think and speak, and making things more crawlable. For example, I love an FAQ accordion, but crawlers struggle to read them. So it's like SEO on steroids. Side note, I've been talking to a lot of my clients about re-shoring up their website foundations since what we built a few years ago now needs a little TLC to keep up. So let me know if you're interested in chatting through a one-time foundation fix. And shift 6, connection and customer experience have to be at the center of your marketing. In a world where, yeah, sure, even I am always on the hunt for new clients, my current clients continue to be my biggest growth driver. And while I don't necessarily think of them like that, like they're people that I've genuinely loved working with and have had so much fun building with and for them. But through that and through the great experience and strong deliverables, often those one-off projects evolved into longer term retainers or future projects. And they're so happy to talk about the great experience they had with their friends, which turns into referral clients for us. So it's just a constant reminder, especially in a world that feels like it's shifting, that connection and experience that you cultivate before they buy, during the process, and after you deliver is unquantifiable. Trust matters more than anything because people are being intentional with their spending. So while that will look different for everyone, the connection and the experience have to really be cultivated into your sales and marketing and service. Because so often I see people blaming their marketing for what's up when the real opportunity is just asking for a referral, having a meaningful offer based on the needs that you know someone has because you've truly taken the time to get to know them. So, all that to say, marketing hasn't stopped working per se. It's that the environment in which we're marketing has changed. The businesses that are succeeding right now aren't the ones shouting louder. They're the ones who are clearer, more intentional, more focused on building connections, and are more in line with how people are actually making decisions today. So remember, if your marketing feels harder now than it ever has, it's not broken and you're not doing anything wrong. It's just that the internet grew up, and now so must we. So as always, I hope that helped. I hope that gave you some real comfort and some real relief. And like always, I am always here to help. So let me know if you've tried any of these, if you're excited to try any of these. I love hearing from you in my DMs and continuing the conversation one-on-one. So until we talk more.